Check it out. Don't nothing happen overnight. Robbery, lottery, and red-eye flights. Foreign talk shows, episodes of
Welcome back to another episode of FG Unleashed. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like buttons if you like the videos. I really appreciate it. Also you can follow me on Instagram at FGeneral1, and a little more street over there, but at the same time, we're gonna keep it nice and clean over here on YouTube. So today, somebody asked me a question. They said, how do I feel about, gang banging now that I'm older and mature? And it's funny how when somebody asks you something and you a certain age, you know the right answer to the question. But is that what you really feel on the inside, or is that, we just do say the shit we know people want to hear? You know what I mean? And I think in some aspects of our lives, we all do it. Somebody might ask you about a football team. Somebody might ask you about, a recipe, anything. And your first thought might be one thing. But when you get older and mature, you know the right shit to say, so something else might come out your mouth. So when I was asked that question, how do I feel about gangbanging now that I'm older and mature? My first initial thought was, shit, dudes got to do what they got to do if they out there pushing that line. But on the flip side of that, I don't believe that just based on, it's two parts to that. That mentality comes from the dudes that's right there in the turf, that live right there, who when they walking out the house going to get some bread for their mother, they still getting shot at or still getting jumped, or, they still out there and right in the thick of it, and they can't escape it. You know what I mean? It's it's a saying that go back, I don't know how far, you know what I mean? It's kill or be killed, you know what I mean? And I don't condone the violence at all, and just to be honest with you, us as black men, mature men, ex-gang members, we got to do better and trying to coach these young dudes that this some bullshit, you know what I mean? And the thing that makes me super mad is a lot of these gang wars and a lot of these beefs between neighborhoods and hoods, this shit is starting over social media. You got a dude that's laying up with his baby mama, can't even afford to go get some bread from the store, on Instagram starting some shit, disrespecting this dude's dead homies, and disrespecting this dude's neighborhood, and you're not even ready for a war, and you putting other people at risk by doing all this social media shit. I'm finna be at one of the forefronts. I know a lot of guys are doing it, but I'm finna help them, and be at the forefront and knock off that social media gangbanging shit. Gangbanging need to stop as a whole, but at the end of the day, now knock off that social media shit. You could type up some shit on social media just like I could say some shit right now on social media that'll start a whole conflict just that fast, man. I mean, just that fast. So you guys that's on there just disrespecting dudes and you're not gonna even do nothing anyway. You know what I mean? You're not even coming out, because the difference is this. When I grew up, everybody lived in their neighborhood. You were held accountable for what came out your mouth and the actions that you did. So being that that's not in today's society, these dudes don't live in their neighborhood. You can't find these dudes. You know what I mean? They on social media, but you can't find them nowhere else. So when we was coming up and was held accountable, these gangbangers today are not being held accountable because they can just disrespect anybody at the touch of some fingertips, and then when people see them in the streets and want their head on a stick, and we see that somebody done got their head busted, the first thing we do would be like, oh man, poor guy got his head busted. No, this poor guy was over here starting shit. You know what I mean? This poor guy disrespected somebody, dead brother or dead uncle or, dead sister. You know what I mean? And dude, we got to do better. Stop that social media gangbanging shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not for gangbanging anymore. You know what I mean? Just based on when I really got mature enough to look at the numbers, you know what I mean, and see that statistically we knocking ourselves down along with anybody else. We're part of the problem. And then when you get to the pen, you know, yeah, back in the 80s and the 90s, you get to the pen, yeah, it was us against the Crips, you know, so that was your main focus, you know, these Crips. But as time went on, you go to jail now, it's other races and other gangs to where the Crips and the Bloods got to come together as black men, just to be 100 with you. So how can you come together with some enemies or some supposed to be enemies, you know, in prison, but you can't do it out on the street, you know? And any dude to go to prison, you know, and say he didn't have no Crip partners, you know, and say he didn't meet some Crips that was super cool, motherfucker had hella love for you, you had hella love for them, y'all that relationship grew, you know, and then you come home from prison and now you like, oh, I don't fuck with the Crips. Dude, that's buster shit. You know what I mean? That's sucker shit, homie. You know what I mean? So one thing, you would never hear me say nothing disrespectful, you know, about the blue rags. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I done been in the trenches with them. I done got money with them, you know, and we got a unique bond. You know, I got some good friends over there that's Crips. I got some Crip homies that I go to before I go to the homies for certain things. You know what I mean? That's what it's become, you know. But nowadays, you know, the foundation is built different just based on, you know, the social media banging. You know, anybody can get on social media and put a red or blue rag on their forehead, take some pictures, and start posting this on Instagram. Now they're a Crip or blood in their mind. And you couldn't do that back in the day. You know, and we letting dudes, or you young dudes out there is letting dudes on social media that's not going to throw a rock at a rabbit, entice, you know, gang activity from their social media, you know. And I don't know if it could be stopped because, like I say, as long as they hide behind a computer, you know. But some of you dudes is that's starting these conflicts over Instagram and social media. Somebody gonna holler at you one day, man. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out here getting hurt behind that shit. So that's the one thing, man, that when I look at it from that aspect, you know, some of them dudes need to get hollered at, you know, just straight up, you know what I mean? But gangbanging as a whole, no, I ain't with that. You know what I mean? I'm not with it, man. You know what I mean? And I know people feel they got to do what they got to do. Or when you grow up in the ghetto, you learn at a young age that when I walk out my house, it's going to be conflict just because of the street I live on. You know, I get that. You know what I mean? But that's a rare few. You know, that's a rare few. You know, the rest of these dudes that don't live in your neighborhood, come on, homie. You ain't pushing no line like that if you ain't on the turf. So all that other shit is sucker shit. You know what I mean? So if the dudes that ain't doing nothing stay off Instagram with the bullshit, it'll be less bullshit. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you can't drive over there and see them no more. You can't go to that neighborhood and see them no more. Dudes don't even hang out in their neighborhoods like that no more. You know what I mean? But you talk about you on Instagram like you a super blood or you a super Crip. You know what I mean? And that's what bothers me. You know, so no, I'm not with the banging, but I'm really against the dudes who are getting people killed and getting people hurt because of the shit you post on social media. You know what I mean? That can get somebody hurt, and you're not gonna even be a part of the fight. You know, just getting innocent people, you know, shot at and stabbed and, you know, and those sort of things. And that's the dude that I really don't like. You know, I know some people you gotta bang because where you at, it's Mando. But the rest of you dudes, knock it off, man. You know, and that's my message, and that's how I feel. You know, you're gonna hear more about me on that because I'm really opposed to that. But I think, man, people should start taking in perspective that no matter where another black man from, man, that's our brother, man. You know, no matter where another man from, period. You know what I mean? He should be respected on the grounds on which he represents himself, no matter what race he is. You know, and that's why that's where I stand at. You know, because when we be out there on the Harley set, we were just down in San Diego, man. I'm talking about nobody knew where nobody was from. I'm sure it was, you know, 100 Crips, 100 Bloods, or ex-members. Man, we had a great time, man. You know what I mean? A great time. Because we done got older and mature, and we know how to function amongst each other. You know, we know the value of these lives out here, you know. But I think we get a certain age and we move on, but we don't reach back to try to teach these dudes to move on. You know, we just leave them. When we figure it out, we just leave them. And that's what we got to do better at. You know, we can do better. Go set some things up in the hood. Talk to some of these dudes. A lot of these dudes don't even want to be gangbangers. I know this for sure. They just don't know the way out. You know what I mean? If you tell them it's cool to get on, man, it's cool to go to work. It's cool to take care of your kids, man. All that is cool. You know, some of them going to be like, man, because since we don't realize how much they listen to us, we have to go let them know, man, it's cool to move on, man. You know what I mean? It's some bullshit right here. It's cool to live your life, and I guarantee you ain't nobody going to say nothing to you about it. Somebody might say a little shit at first because they still stuck in the hood, but you give them some encouragement to get out, you know, but you get on, you know what I mean? Go live your life, man, and that's how you gonna win out here, and that's how you gonna make it, you know what I mean? Stop making enemies and shit, and start making positive upgrades in your life, you know? And that's all I wanted to spit to you dudes today, man, is stop that social media shit. You know, it's really hurting. I mean, it's hurting us more than y'all think, you know. And start working on getting your shit together, man. You know what I mean? These years going by real fast, you know. And that's the word from FG today, man. Y'all take care.